Hey, this is Russ. I made a comment on a video recently where I said that the Russ is Right channel is not really a review channel. And people have asked me too, privately as well, um, has that affected your channel? I mean, our company's now pulling away from the Russ is Right channel and not sending you bikes to review. Let's talk about that, right? Well, the thing is that I had said that, the channel really was never intended to be a review channel. It was really intended to help my knee, that those bikes were to help my knee. Well, the one bike, I should say. I bought one bike. And then as I'm riding and I'm talking about the bike and my experiences I'm biking and my interest in the e-bikes, people started taking notice, including the manufacturers. And so one by one, manufacturers were offering me bikes to review. And let me talk a little bit about that too, because I was talking to a relative recently, and he was surprised at how much information I knew about bikes. Now, because he's known me my entire life, and I've never really been a thin guy. I've never really been athletic. Okay, well, I did Taekwondo. I guess you can consider that athletic. I was pretty good at that. That was the thing that actually messed up my knees, in case you didn't know. A lot of kicking in Taekwondo. And that's why my knees got all messed up. I really think I probably damaged my knee back when I was in high school and just never knew it. I just kind of lived with it. So so that's really the only athletic thing I've ever really done. So he was kind of surprised that I knew about bikes because, when I was growing up, I didn't have the best bikes, and you would tend to think that, well, this guy probably doesn't know a whole lot about bikes, but I know a lot about bikes. Yeah, I've always had an interest in bikes. Actually, when I was younger, and I've told this story before, I was always a little jealous that some of the neighborhood kids had better bikes than I had. Yeah, my first bike was a bike that was purchased at the Chicago police auction. My dad bought that for me, and then when he finally got me a decent road bike, it wasn't really that decent either. I mean, it was okay. I'm not saying it wasn't, and I'm glad to have had it, but it wasn't like the most expensive bikes that were out there. But I did a lot of study on bikes, and so I've always had an interest in biking. I just never had a really great bike. And when my knees started having problems when I was hitting my 30s, I basically said, I can't ride anymore. I got to the point where I couldn't ride. So the bikes that I had, and finally had a fairly decent giant bike. It was a mountain bike. I had to hang it up. I just hang it up in the garage, on the overhead, right? It was just hanging up there, and for years it was hanging up there. But you'd see me every now and then. I'd take it down, I'd dust it off, and I'd say to myself, I'm gonna go out one day and ride this thing. Never really happened. I still have that bike. It's sitting in my basement. Yeah, like I said, if it had even 50 miles, I'd be surprised. So I've always had an interest in bikes, and I've always had knowledge of what good bikes should be, and even though I didn't have one, I knew a lot about it. Another thing that I always had an interest in, but I just could never do, scuba diving. When I was in high school, I always wanted to be able to go scuba diving. So I bought my fins, and I bought my mask, and I bought my weight belt, and all sorts of stuff. We had a swimming pool in our backyard. It was just an above ground pool. And so I said, one day I'm going to join the scuba team in at our high school, because we actually had a scuba club in high school. But I couldn't equalize my ears. I couldn't go down past, say, 10 feet before I could feel the pressure, and I just could never equalize myself. So yeah, I have a lot of knowledge about scuba diving. Never did it though. Same thing with bikes. I always had an interest in it, but I just never had a decent bike until when I could actually afford a halfway decent one, and then my knees happened and I just couldn't ride anymore. So this is why he was surprised that I knew so much about bikes, even though if you know me as a person, you would say this guy wouldn't have any knowledge about decent bikes and how to ride it properly and everything. But yeah, I do. So when the e-bikes came around, I said, all right, I'm going to get one of these things. I did my research, and I looked around. I decided that I was going to buy that Rad Rover 5. Okay. Now, at that time, all the various bikes we have nowadays were not really as available, and I, I only knew what I knew, so I kind of said, well, based on its reputation and it seems to have a really good customer service on it, I said I'm just gonna buy this one. So I bought that bike, and the next thing you know, I'm riding it, and I did 2,600 miles that first year. So here comes the second year, and I'm riding it, and then all of a sudden, the company started asking, would you like to review the bike? Now, at that time, the channel had started to grow. I think I had a couple thousand subscribers by that time. I was doing mostly about my knee replacement, at that point. And so I said, yeah, I'd be happy to take the bike on and do a review of it and try it and everything. And one by one, they started coming in. And so people have asked me, what about today? After you made that comment, has everything just kind of died for the Russ is Right channel? And the answer is no. They're still coming in. I turned down 2 more bikes this week. I turned down more bikes than I take. I've mentioned that before. And these are some of these bikes I have heard of, but it just didn't impress me that much. But then I also said yes to a couple bikes too. So we have a couple bikes coming in, and as well as some others that have already been planned to be coming in. So yeah, I think I'm back at the situation I was back in the fall, where all the bikes were starting to come in at one time, and we were running out of time to do the reviews because it was getting colder. Yeah, and then of course it's gonna snow and all that. So I says I have a time frame. I have to finish those reviews. I really felt crunched. Well, it's kind of reversed now. I have a lot of bikes coming in now, but we have a lot of time because we're going into the spring, so we got spring, summer, and fall to do these reviews. But I know that the manufacturers don't want me to be sitting on their bikes forever and never coming out with the reviews, but they have to understand that if other companies have come first and they've offered the bikes, they're going to get the reviews first. So, for instance, today I had a company that sent me an inquiry whether I would be interested in their bike, and it was one of the bikes that I actually had interest in. So I said yes, I would be happy to take it, but we're probably looking at May before I can actually even get to that bike for the review, because I have other bikes already lined up that I have to do reviews for. I mean, some have already come in, and like I said, one of them's coming in. So we have a couple more coming as well. So is the Russ is Right channel truly a review channel? And I would say it's still a riding channel with reviews. And as you know, I've always asked these companies too for the second battery so that I can take those bikes and go farther, because I want to ride the bikes. I don't want to just do the review. I want to ride them. Okay. And as you know, I only try to take in bikes that I think have some type of merit. And it doesn't mean that they have to be the most expensive bikes. One of them I took in and made response to. Some of these companies I'm still waiting to hear back from, just so you know. But I did respond yes to it. It's not the most expensive bike. It's an average price bike. Okay, so yeah. Even though some of them have come in are rather expensive to the average person, the others are reasonable bikes. By reasonable, I'm saying, let's say $2,400 and under. I would consider those now reasonable, because I think a lot of us now are to the point where some of us are actually thinking of our second bike. Yeah, where we've already had our bike for a couple years, and we're starting to realize, hey, there's new stuff coming out. Maybe it's good to get a soft tail bike or one with a suspension on the rear, or at least a shock absorber type of thing on the rear. Maybe we're looking at that now compared to what we used to have for the last couple years. So to look at, maybe you spend $1,500 on that first bike, you're probably looking at a higher range now. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, if you're going to replace a bike, why would you replace it with the same basic thing, right? You're going to want something a little bit better. So, and that's going to cost you a little bit more, but you're more educated. You understand it better now. You've had experience riding it now. So now you say, I really wonder what it would be like if I had this, or what it would be like if I had that, So those features that you were looking for, and that's going to cost you a little bit more money. Or I, you know what, the one thing I think most people are most interested in is their brakes. Maybe when you bought your bike, it was a mechanical disc brake. I know that's how my Rad Rover 5 was. And then I upgraded it to the hydraulic calipers. It's not a full hydraulic system. The line is still cable, but the caliper itself was hydraulic. And I noticed an improvement, but nowhere close to what a full hydraulic brake system is able to do. So maybe you're looking at let me upgrade just the brakes, or maybe some of them are saying let me just get the whole new bike. This one's getting a little bit old now, so I want one with a hydraulic brake. Maybe there's features that you want. So what I'm saying is that what $1,500 represented back then might now be your $2,000 bike that you're looking for, or maybe a $2,300 bike, or whatever price range you're in. So I think we're all getting to the point where we're accepting better stuff on our bikes, right? So am I only going to be taking in these very expensive options and bikes and stuff? And the answer is no, because I realize there's still a lot of us who are brand new to e-bikes, and maybe that $1,200 price point or that $1,500 price point is where we're at. So yeah, I'm accepting bikes that are in those ranges, as well as the ones that are way above those ranges. So yeah, and again, like I said, if it doesn't have merit, that I think that somebody would have a benefit to being able to see and check out, yeah, I won't take those bikes unless it was something of merit. So a couple of these companies, again, not mentioning who they are yet because it's not finalized yet, have some technologies that I said, yeah, I think the viewers would be interested in seeing this. Okay. So do I need another bike like that? And the answer is probably no. I mean, I've got so many other bikes now that I'm at the point where I'm saying, if I take them in, what am I going to do with the bikes? I mean, I think the bikes that are left in my arsenal now are bikes I want to keep. I don't really want to get rid of them. But then if these other bikes are coming in, where am I going to put these things now? It's getting to the point where I have to do something. Now, I could put them in the basement. It's not like I can't do that, but getting it up and down the stairs to ride is going to be kind of tough. I mean, bikes are not easy to just kind of lift and bring it down the stairs. I mean, you're talking bikes that are the 70 to 90 something pound ranges. Going up and down stairs with something that heavy is not an easy thing to do. My cousin once told me that he built like a ramp to get up and down his stairs. I may have to do something like that, but it's quite a few stairs to go up and down. We're not talking like a 5 or 6 steps. We're talking, I don't know, I never counted it. Let's say 12 to 15 steps. So I'm thinking, do I put them all in the basement now? That basement's going to look like the Twilight Zone. It's just going to have so much stuff down there. So, or do I have to start selling them off? And I really don't want to sell off any of the bikes I have left. I've kind of grown attached to these things. So anything coming in, what do I do with the others, right? So we may find one or two that have to be sold, and I don't really want to do it. But I have to take these other ones in because there's new technologies coming in. There's new things coming in that I think you would have an interest in, and I want to check them out too, quite frankly. Yeah, there's one company I told them, I says, yeah, I've been kind of watching your ads, and I says, yeah, that's kind of cool. I wonder if they'd be giving me a bike. And sure enough, yeah, I woke up this morning and there's the offer. So yeah, I had to say yes. I'm not going to say no to that. But I did ask what I typically ask. Can you give me a second battery along with the bike, because I do want to take it farther. I know this is tough for companies if they haven't worked with you yet. They don't know what your channel is going to do, whether it's worth it to even give you a bike. Now you're asking for a battery on top of it too. Those batteries aren't cheap. I think most of these batteries are between $500 and $700, at retail. And so, yeah, they'd have to take a chance. Is it worth giving it to this guy or not? So I hope they do, because really, if they don't, all it could be is a review locally around the general neighborhoods. But if they do, I can take it farther. I can really test it out, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I hope that they've been watching the channel before even offering the bike, so that they know what I'm really all about and why I asked for those second batteries, so I can get farther out. Plus, I'm heavier. I mentioned that to them too. I'm heavier. I need more range. I need that second battery. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what happened after the announcement of the Russ is Right channel is not an e-bike review channel. It's turning more into one. I don't want it to be just about reviews. I want to be able to ride and talk about the experience of riding. I mean, that's why we buy a bike, right? It's not just gear. It's the experience of riding and using the bike. And anyway, I'm rambling. Hey, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Hit the share button. Share the videos out. Let people see it. You know, when you share a video, it just gets it more out there, and then more people realize, you know, what the channel is all about. I'll talk to you guys next time.